Well, aside from almost getting hit by some passing cars a couple of times, I'd have to say it went pretty well. But out there today, I did learn that it is a very tough and tedious job to be out there in the thick of traffic, trying to fill what looks like a sea of potholes on some of these roads. Shovel, patch, squish. It's music to these guys' ears, and the melody repeats all day long. These men are just 4 out of the 40 members who've been working round the clock for the City of South Bend Streets Department. It's these guys who keep the streets safe to drive on, clear of snow and potholes.
Basically, the last few weeks have been nonstop snowfall. When we got done with the snowfall, then we had to worry about the deep freeze, then the thawing, and then we had about an inch of rain come through.
Now potholes plague the city, and many are disguised as deep puddles. The process is tedious. Dayside crews first sweep away the debris. They spread out a steaming, cold weather patch and then stomp it down for 8 hours straight. And once they fill all of those potholes this afternoon, it's then going to snow, which means they're going to find themselves back in this giant salt dome tomorrow afternoon.
They actually are on standby to come in early if we need them, because the snow's expected to come later this afternoon into the evening. So
the night shift crew will likely report to work tonight before the usual 11 p.m. call time. Catching up on sleep after last week's snow plowing marathon will just have to wait.
Everybody here has a family, obviously. We got guys that just started, that are in their 50s, that are near retirement, that have just as much to offer as some of the younger guys that come in with a lot of experience.
So if you're one of those people that's wondering where the streets department is, they're out there. I can assure you it's just a lot of ground to cover for a crew of about 40 men. They do ask for you to call 311 if you have a pothole or a snow plowing issue on your street. And also they want viewers to know to be extra careful whenever you are driving past one of their work crews that will be out. Reporting live in South Bend, Megan Schiller, ABC 57 News.
And we appreciate their hard work, Megan. We appreciate your report as well. And for up-to-the-minute weather alerts when we're not on air, you can still get ABC 57 team weather coverage online with our weather app. It is available for both Android and iPhone users. You can also click on abc57.com, download that right now. And while you're online, take a second to add us on Facebook and Twitter. Tonight, the Walmart in Niles is back open after store officials closed up shop after an elaborate robbery that involved setting part of the store on fire. The store opened at 6 o'clock this morning. Right now, deputies are still looking for this guy. Take a close look here at the surveillance video. He started a fire in one section of the store Sunday morning to make a getaway with a bunch of iPads. Anyone with that information is asked to call police right away. Today, a former South Bend school bus driver who was found guilty of having sex with a teenage student was sentenced. 34-year-old Manisha Simpson was found guilty of 2 counts of child seduction in September 2012 after it was uncovered that she was having a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old boy. Today, a judge sentenced her to a year of probation and was to abide with the state's sex offender terms on that probation. New at 5, one of the South Bend parks that used to be a dumping site is added to a national list to be cleaned up. Beck's Lake, which consists of LaSalle Park and nearby homes on South Bend's west side, is now on the national priorities list, better known as the Superfund site. Soil samples have shown that the park's contaminated with arsenic. A long-term Superfund investigation will determine whether cleanup work will be necessary and what can be done to fix it.
Well, the Fighting Irish football team is welcoming a new defensive coordinator to the program this season. Head
coach Brian Kelly made the announcement today that the University of Notre Dame has hired Brian Van Gorder to replace former defensive coordinator Bob Diaco. ABC 57's Emily Evans sat in on today's press conference. She joins us live at Notre Dame tonight. And Emily, this new hire has quite a resume, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Brian Van Gorder head coached at Wayne State and Georgia Southern for a total of 4 years, plus 5 years of experience in the SEC and a total of 7 seasons coaching defenses in the NFL, most recently as a linebacker coach for the New York Jets. Brian Van Gorder and Brian Kelly were a duo back in the early 90s at Grand Valley State in Michigan. Van Gorder was a defensive coordinator under Kelly in 1991.
And the one thing I really look forward to are the already established standards and expectations here of Notre Dame and the football program, and certainly the enthusiasm that he has brought to Notre Dame and that I'm going to be a part of.
The Jackson, Michigan native worked with the Atlanta Falcons for 5 years, along with stints with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Western Illinois, Central Michigan, and the University of Central Florida. And he says he's looking forward to working with college athletes again.
Feeding them the information and giving them all the things that physically are going to help them become the best that they can be is really, there's even more room for that, and it's more enjoyable for someone of my personality.
Along with lots of experience, Kelly says Van Gorder is a first-rate teacher, a quality that was important for the Irish in the hiring process.
To bring together our defensive players, you need the ability to communicate and to teach. And Brian is one of the very best teachers, if not the best teacher that I've ever been around.
Coming up tonight at 6, Van Gorder could be hitting the recruiting trail as soon as this Thursday. Find out why he says he finds the recruiting process exciting. Reporting live at Notre Dame Stadium, Emily Evans, ABC 57 News.
Murder charges were filed today after a pre-movie argument escalated into deadly violence. Today we are learning more about the shooter and the victim and what happened before shots rang out inside that theater.
Plus, dangerous strains of the flu are sweeping the country, but some good news that doctors already know how to fight it. We're going to tell you why.
On ABC 57 First Warning Doppler radar already had one batch of snow pass through. Another batch is coming in during the overnight hours. This one could dump a few inches of snow for some folks. We'll talk about your neighborhood totals coming up.
And we've said it time and time again, there is no such thing as safe ice. We were there as rescue crews plunged into the icy waters on purpose. How their training day is saving lives.